What's going on, guys? Dylan, the SDR Whisperer here with another student spotlight. Got my boy Brayden Robbins. Good to see you, brother. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Long day of calls. I'm assuming the same for you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Happy to be here, though.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Coming out of Denver, Colorado, my old stomping grounds.
Yeah. And you're in Florida, my old stomping grounds. We switched places.
We did a little bit of a flip flop. I got tired of the cold and went to warmer places. You were tired of the warmth and went to colder places.
Exactly. So simple as that.
Simple as that, dude. Well, yeah, thanks for copping on here. I know we've been working together for a decent amount of time, with Jake and myself, the SDR Whisperer. So, just kind of want to set the stage for anyone that's listening to this, kind of, who you are, what you're about, what you're doing nowadays.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like you said, I'm Brayden. Connected with you guys, I would say about a year ago, is when I started doing, official sales work. I met Jake through some family friends quite a while ago, so just kind of knew him. But yeah, I'd say about a year ago, kind of when I connected with you guys in the SDR Whisperer, I was in Denver looking for a job. I'd say struggling looking for a job. I had done a lot of, online marketing, stuff like that leading up to this point, and it was getting to the point where it was hard to support myself month after month. So I started looking for other things, and I was actually applying for server jobs at a restaurant, and Jake had called me and was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And basically was like, "Dude, I'm applying for server jobs right now, not having a great day, you can call me back." And then he was like, "Yeah, no problem." And then instantly texted me and was like, "Dude, do you want to get into sales? I could totally help you." And then basically from there kind of took off, got me into SDR Whisperer, started taking the modules. Jake was pretty hands-on with me because I was working at a place that he was the fractional sales manager at. He got me a job there through your guys' placement program. A lot of help from him, especially the videos, all that stuff in SDR Whisper. And so I was an SDR for basically the last, I'd say 12 months, maybe a little bit less than that, 10 months. And recently just got a job here in Denver as an account executive doing sales. So they got me on salary plus commission now, going to
Oh
the
yeah,
office, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I walk there. So I'm loving it right now. But yeah,
that's great.
definitely wouldn't be here without Jake and Dylan and the SDR Whisperer 100%.
I appreciate that, brother. And it's a two-way street, right? You applied yourself, you took in the learnings. Because in that situation, that moment, right, where you were kind of you could throw in the towel on the whole digital online, making money online space. You're like, screw it, I'm going back to the traditional route. So, good on you for, persevering. Obviously online remote appointment setting sales, high ticket sales is, it's got its highs and lows, volatility, a lot of things like that. But you stuck with it and you're an account executive now, right? Like you said, you got the salary. Pretty cool. You can walk to work too, because
Yeah.
usually the bad side of an office job is the hour commute, traffic. So yeah.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Walk in there. And I want to touch on that, apply yourself, because I would say that's one of the biggest things that helped me is just staying consistent and asking for advice, whether it was from Dylan or from Jake, because it's really easy to become stagnant as an SDR. Just set your meetings, hit your dial minimum. But obviously, majority of people coming into SDR Whisper don't want to just be an SDR, kind of want to move
Yeah.
to that next role. So obviously, if you want to do that, I'd say best thing is utilize these guys.
Yeah. And it's awesome. That's the whole point of an SDR, right?
Right.
It's the stepping stone, it's the intro, it's the foundation to, a career in sales where you have a lot more earnings potential, the big base salaries, the big commissions, closing the deals. That's awesome, dude. I did the same thing. I sold door to door, I sold cars. I was kind of finding my way and got as a job as an SDR, cold calling, worked my way up, account executive, director of sales, and it's fun. It's definitely fun. How long you been in AE now?
This is pretty recent. This job, I've been there almost 2 weeks. So this is my second week, kind of week and a half in. So just a bunch of
Nice.
training right now. Been on calls for the last 2 days, but pretty light. But yeah, it's been
Like
really fun.
shadowing or taking your own?
So I shadowed all last week. Started taking a couple calls this week, basically three the other day, and then I did 10 today.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah.
What are you selling?
So we're selling insurance leads to insurance agents.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
is
it's
it
on but 250 to 2 grand. It's kind of price point. Which depends obviously on what they're doing. But essentially it's high intent consumer search leads. So let's say you just bought a car, you go look on Google for a policy or something.
Yeah.
The company I work for is called Quote Wizard by Lending Tree. Essentially, most of the sites you go on, kind of look for policy, stuff like that, is owned by Quote Wizard, and then they take that data, give it to your insurance. That's basically what we're doing. So yeah, it's
Data, dude. That's what
yeah,
it's all about.
yeah.
Data's a great spot to be in.
Everybody needs it, at least, and if they don't need it, they're going to need it sooner or later. So
I think data is like the biggest industry from like a valuation perspective. Like that is like where
I have
everything
no
is
idea, but
going.
that could totally be accurate for sure.
Yeah.
Because
Okay. So are the leads that you're having now, are they booked by an SDR or are they like direct to booking or?
so there's like two different types. They'll have us just kind of rip in dials, which you can get some cold call closes, and then other ones you'll just be set up with.
Nice. So how is like your year of being a setter prepped you for like doing this role? Like, was it like super beneficial knowing like how hard it is to get meetings on the calendar? And now you're like, oh, I have meetings on my calendar now. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah, I'd say the best part from being an SDR transitioning to this is, like I mentioned, they still have you do dials. Like they're still like, dude, rip dials. And, if you can hit 150 in a day, that's awesome. Like, so being an SDR, like hitting 150 dials a day is nothing. But like when I came in, they're
Yeah.
like, don't be overwhelmed. Don't worry if you can't hit it. Like focus on making sales versus dials. And I'm like, dude, 150, I've been doing that for 10 months every day. Like that's no problem. That's like taking my dog out. So
Yeah. Yeah. That's like the best AEs were SDRs, right?
yeah.
Like you understand the grind and now you're on the other side, but you still respect it. And like the best AEs when I was an AE myself and when I managed AEs, like that was what I was looking for, was someone who was able to do both roles, but also had the experience to close a deal. Like a lot of AEs, especially in like enterprise software companies, things like that, they're lazy. They just wait for meetings. They don't get them. They're like, all right, I don't got nothing to do today.
Right.
So you're going to make a bunch more money just having that like hunger mindset and apply it to what you're doing now. Cause now you can take it, like you said, full cycle, like cold call, one call close.
Right. And that's like the best thing. That's what they want there is like the CCCs is what they call it, the cold call closes, because everyone gets
Yeah.
hyped for those and like the team chat and stuff. So I listened to a couple of them. Pretty cool. It doesn't take too long. Get on the
No.
phone, like 45 minutes later, boom, they're done.
I'm sure you were like wanting to do that when you were an SDR, like you had a really hot lead on the call. You're like, I could probably close this guy in the back of your head, but you got to set
Right.
it.
But I'm not allowed. So
Now you got the chains are off. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, it's been awesome seeing your growth, especially, I know you work a little bit more hands-on with Jake because you guys are pretty close in proximity to each other. But I remember we spoke probably like 8, 9 months ago when you were kind of just first getting started out. I think you were with Woo at that point, and now, big time AE. So good on you, dude. Now, if you could say a message to, yourself when you were like just getting started in the space, you're getting on interviews, like what is like the biggest piece of advice for somebody who's watching this who may just be getting started on their setter SDR journey?
It might sound like kind of cheesy or like maybe simple, but like just be willing to take coaching from absolutely anybody. And that doesn't have to mean direct coaching, right? Like you can get to a new job and the other SDRs that are there, like go listen to their calls when you first get there. Figure out what they're saying that's working, right? Like what are they saying that sounds not good to you that you're not going to be saying, type of thing. And then obviously, whether it's an AE at the company you're at that maybe you don't like, or a manager at a new company that you're like annoyed with, doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people have a lot of knowledge. And as long as you're willing to take that in, like you're not going to stay in the same place, if that makes sense. You're always going to be moving forwards if you're always kind of looking for like, okay, what can I learn from this situation? What could I take away from this call? So that'd be like my biggest thing. And even like yourself, like listen to your own calls, like take coaching from yourself, because once you learn a lot of things, you're going to be able to listen to your own call and be like, ooh, shouldn't have done that, or should have framed this better, should have went back to the thing when I tied him down, those types of things, right?
Yeah.
So that'd probably be it. Just always look for ways to improve, because sales is as much as it is macro, it's really micro with certain things. So focusing on that, I would say, is probably the biggest thing that helped me.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, that's what I did when I was an SDR. I sat next to the top performer and I just listened and I did sales previous to it, but I never did this sales. So like, even if you have sales experience and you're getting started, like maybe you're like a corporate 9 to 5 sales guy, you're trying to get into like remote high ticket, it's not the same, right? There's different things that work in different types of sales and different products that you sell. So that's a great piece of advice that a lot more people should definitely implement, because a lot of, salespeople by nature have egos, right? Like we're here.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
putting your ego to the side and taking advice, listening, and love that the self feedback as well. Like once you get a kind of good understanding of what's good and what's not good, you can go back, listen to yourself. That's probably the most like, polarizing is when you
That
thought you
one
had a
sucks.
sick call. You go
That
back,
one
listen to
sucks.
it. You're like, you're terrible. What was
Yeah,
that?
exactly. You have one of those calls, you're like, oh, I need to listen to this. And then like 10 seconds into, I pause, I gotta walk away. I'll come back to this in 20 minutes.
Yeah, I don't even want to finish. I had that. So, we have a closer here as well. And, I was off the calendar for 2, 3 weeks. And it's funny how quick, right? I've been doing the sales for over a decade. I took 3 weeks off. I took a sales call because the calendar was full. And I was like, in my back of my head, I'm like, this is not a good sales call right now. Like, you're not doing very well good doing here. So it's funny, like, no matter how many reps you've done, you can still have a shitty sales call. Yeah, definitely,
And
definitely.
certain people can throw you off, certain personality types can be your kryptonite. So look out for that too.
Yeah, like the super dry ones. Like,
Yes.
hey, how's it going? Good.
Right. Good. What can
Are
I
you
do for
based out
you?
of East Coast?
Yeah, East Coast. I tell you the state.
Yeah, what's your offer? We help businesses. Yeah, those are the worst ones where you're like, it's like a bad date.
Yes, and you want to get off, but you probably should stay.
Yeah, you could turn it around. But no, dude, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much all I had for you. Just really wanted to kind of get a check-in. I know like you said, you just got AE job, so awesome connecting with how that's going. And again, if you need to review those call coaches, send them into the Slack. We'll get me, Ben,
Oh,
and Jake ripping it apart for you.
awesome.
But no, dude, I appreciate you hopping on here, sharing your story. It's been awesome seeing your growth. And maybe we do another one in 6 to 12 months when you're the sales manager, kicking some ass
I'm
of the
down.
AEs.
Let's pen it in.
Awesome, brother. Well, appreciate you hopping on here. And if you're listening to this, you want to join the SDR Whisperer, there's going to be a link in the description to schedule a call with our team, learn more about what we do, how we help individuals like Brayden, and help you get to where you want to go in sales. So thanks for watching.